All right, let's get into drafting. Now, before we can get right into the drawing, we have to do a little bit of drawing setup. And before even that, let me preface something real quick and just say that if I seem to gloss over anything that you want more information on, use the help file or just do some experimentation and try to figure some of the stuff out on your own. Trial and error works wonders, and the help file is actually really well done. Um, or just wait until later on when I make some more in-depth videos on some of these commands. A lot of the commands have layers to them with lots of options. So, but I'm not going to get into those options right now. I want to get you the basics to start drawing stuff right away. So, drawing setup. First thing you're going to want to do is set up your drawing units. This is how you measure things. The default is in decimal. So let's type in units, and you can see that the default here is set in decimal. That's good for metric when you're working in metric. I work in architectural because using imperial units. So I'm going to set my units type to architectural. And the precision for that I'm going to have set to 1/16 of an inch, which is a good precision that's pretty common among most industries. It just says that when you're drawing something, you know, how precise are the dimensions going to be? Are they down to the 16th, 32nd, or however you want them to be? For the angle, I'm going to use decimal degrees, and I like to set the precision to 0.00. You can use whatever precision is comfortable for you, but 0.00 I feel like is two decimal places is a good place to be at. So I'm going to hit OK. That's going to set my drawing units. As far as the grid in the background, it's up to you whether you want to keep it or not. I'm going to turn mine off. F7 is the toggle for grid, so you can turn the grid off. It doesn't have any value to me, but it may to you depending on what you're doing. Also, the snap goes along with that, and I can get into that later. But snap, which is down here, essentially just when you're drawing something, you can see it'll kind of like move in a blocky formation along with the grid. So, but I'm going to turn both of those off right now because I don't need those. So we're ready to get started drawing. And just as far as the working area, you'll notice this X and Y. That's the UCS, stands for User Coordinate System. I will do a whole video series probably on the user coordinate system and how to modify that. But for now, it just lets you know your relative location of the drawing space. This is the 0, 0, 0 coordinate in the drawing space. So let's get to it. I'm going to go through these in the drawing area. I'm not going to do the modify in this video. This is all related to drawing. These are the more commonly used commands, as you can see by the larger icons. The lesser used stuff will be hidden away. Usually when you expand one of these menus, you can see more of this stuff. Stuff here just won't be used nearly as much as you're going to use these things. So, and I think I might have mentioned this before, there's multiple ways to initiate commands. I typically tend to use the command line, but you can definitely use the icons up here in the ribbon as well, or if you're using toolbars, you can use the icons on the toolbars. So let's go ahead and get through all these commands pretty quickly. Line draws a line like it would in any other program, except instead of holding it down, you're going to click 2 points. So you click your first point, and you click your second point, and just hit enter to close the command out. If you would like for your line to be straight, you're going to want to use orthographic mode. That's F8, toggles orthographic mode, and it locks it into one of these four directions. Okay, you can get your line that way. You can also close out the command by right-clicking and saying enter, as opposed to hitting the enter key. The line command is a running command, which means that you pick your first point, and you can keep picking points to draw other lines. So that's nice about that one. All right. Even though erase is part of the modify section, if you want to delete stuff, just highlight it right by selecting it with the selection window. You pick your first point, pick your next point, and delete. Next thing we're going to do is the polyline. The polyline is a lot like a line. The difference being that, and I'll show you a couple lines here. With a line, if I select one portion, you can see it highlights just that individual line. These are individual line segments. They can be selected separately. But when you select a polyline, it's one entity. It's all combined. So there's not really there is a way to separate it, but by default it is connected. This is handy in a lot of different ways that we'll get into. Polylines have additional properties that lines do not have. So then there's circle. Again, picking 2 points. We're going to start from the center, and always read through your command line to see what the direction is, like what it's instructing you to do. Here it says specify the center point for the circle, so we're going to click the center, and it's asking for the radius or the diameter. You can choose either or, so I can say, oh, I want to use a radius of 12 inches, and there it is. Or I can just manually, I'm going to repeat that command, I can manually choose the radius of whatever I want it to be. So, and you can use center, you can use a radius or dimension, radius or diameter to choose how you want to define that circle. Then we have arc. Arc is creating an arc with 3 points: your start point, your midpoint, and your end point. Okay. I'll get into depth on each one of these things. I'll go more in depth. There is ways to control the radius of the arc, where your start and end point is, you know, how to make it straight and things like that. You can do something like making a line here, and then going from to making a line from the center here, and then saying arc, and we're snapping to the end, which I haven't gone over yet. I'll go over object snaps in another video, or maybe at the end of this one. So there we are. There's your arc, and you can just delete the things afterwards, and then you got a straight arc all the way across. So there's your arc command. You've also got your rectangle command. Pick 2 points for your rectangle. That's a quick rectangle. Also, you can choose the dimensions of the rectangle, which is important. So you click it for your first point, and here as an option, you can choose dimensions. And it'll ask you for the dimensions of the rectangle, X first, then Y. So we'll say 3 feet and then 1 foot. And there's my rectangle. Okay, when you do that, and I did it a little quickly there. We'll try this again. When you do that and you choose the dimensions option, you say 3 feet and 1 feet, it's going to want you to pick a side. It uses your first point as like an axis of rotation, and then you want to pick where you want to put that rectangle. So you just left click, and then you're done with that command. So you also have polygon, which you may use from time to time. You can choose the number of sides. You can say maybe 8 sides for an octagon, and you specify the center point of the polygon, and it's going to ask you inscribed or circumscribed about a circle. I'll go into this in more depth later on, but it's basically when you pick the center point of the polygon, is it going to be on the outside of a circle or the inside of a circle? So we'll leave it at inscribed, and here's the octagon. If I turn off my ortho, you can see that I can rotate it while I'm choosing the size of it. So it's giving you the rotation as well as the size, but I'll leave the ortho on, and we'll just pick a size. And there's your polygon, which essentially polygons and rectangles are just polylines. The only difference is they are closed polylines, but they are polylines. So keep that in mind as far as the way AutoCAD treats these objects. Next would be the ellipse. The ellipse, it works off the radius of the ellipse. So you pick your first point. It says endpoint of axis, which is essentially the radius of the ellipse. And now you're going to pick the height, which is the radius of the other axis, to determine how you want your ellipse to be. I'm sure one of the easier ways to do this, you may not do it freeform, is be like, oh, I want to have, a 5 foot long ellipse by, I don't know, 2 foot tall, and then you're going to move, like this. All right, now you can do your ellipse by picking a point here actually you start from the center, so you go from here to here, and now there we go, end to end, and there we are. See? So the last thing on this main drawing window we're going to go over is hatching. Hatching is creating patterns inside of closed boundaries. It's great for a number of things. Let's say you're doing a floor plan with like a bathroom that has tiling in it, right? So you use your hatch command here, and you pick your pattern. There's a bunch of different patterns, but we'll choose like this crosshatch pattern, and we'll do so the default scale is 1, right? And you pick your points. You pick inside the boundary you want to hatch, but you'll notice that it's completely white. That's most likely because the scale is too small. And if you, in this case, it's so small that even if you zoomed in, you can't even see it. We're gonna set the scale to about 50, and now it's much more visible. And that's pretty much it. You can set other options like the color and what kind of layer it's going to be on, the transparency of it. But this is it. We'll say close hatch creation, and we're done. So, and I'll go further in depth into hatches on another video as well. But that's how you create patterns. That's what hatching is for, is to create patterns inside of closed boundaries. Beyond that, everything else is going to be hidden in some way. It'll be like these are lesser used SP lines, construction lines, rays, all different kinds of things, regions that you can use. They won't be used as much, and they're more for like advanced users when you have a need for them. But these are your basic drawing objects. So, and next I'll be moving on to the modify section, and then in later videos I'll probably go in more in depth into each one of these commands and maybe even some of the more lesser used commands as well.